Mistake number 2, you are jumping in too quickly. If you are anything like me, you are probably a go-getter. Welcome, welcome. And you are constantly trying to get your hands into something new. You just want to absorb it all right away. I, in human design, if you're familiar with human design, am a manifesting generator. And so I am very multi-passionate and I have a pretty quick fuse for starting new projects. I am pretty good at finishing them, but when something catches my attention, I'm like, oh my God, I want to take action. I want to do it right away. That's what started my astrology journey. And like, obviously that's worked out really well because I've incorporated like astrology into the work that I do with my one-on-one clients. Astrology is actually also incorporated into Rest for Success. The moon as one of the 3 codes is an element of astrology. But like, that's a great example of, I was like, oh my God, I have to do it all, and immediately like signed up for a course and certification. I'm like, okay, we could probably calm down a little bit there. But when we're talking about it in terms of your strategy and like you're trying to put a framework into place, your cyclical framework, this is like a flow framework. This is your foundation for life. Okay. This is like not just your foundation for doing the next project or reaching the next goal. This is your foundation for how you're going to be living and achieving and creating and enjoying your entire life, like the entire time that you're going to be on this planet. Okay. And so if we're going to jump into this and expect to like put it all into place in 5 minutes in one day, like Rome wasn't built in a day, right? It can be that you're really motivated and you're like excited to put it all into place. And so you can set it up quite quickly, but there's so much value. And this is what I want you to focus on, in really practicing the elements and then really taking your time to be in them, to embody them, to fully like rest in them, to contemplate them, to set your foundations only once you've really done that. Okay. So what I suggest here is really being in this for a while. So you have the free sacred guide, you have cyclical ascension, which I dive into all of this in much more detail. You also have Rest for Success, where you can get so much more support in really implementing this, and to really start to just get to know it really well, like know the signs of your body, know the phases of the moon, know how you want to be working with the different codes, and like practicing that. And then really taking some time to be like, okay, what does that look like in my life? Like changing the foundations. Because again, if you're just kind of half implementing it, and this is what I did, I had like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Like I couldn't fully commit because like I was like, oh, I want to just do this so badly, so I'm going to start infusing it into my life. But then I wasn't actually like clearing the old structure in order to set the new foundation. I was just trying to put like this new foundation on top of the old structure. And that's where you start to create energy leaks. That's where you start to create a shaky foundation, because you're not actually like putting the foundation in place as you would like it. You're trying to patchwork it, but that's not even your intention. You just want to have it done. Does that make sense? And so I think that it's so important. This is a mistake that I see people making, and I know that I made this one too, is you're like, oh, I'm so excited about this, but then you don't actually put the proper foundations in place that then support you long term. So for me, about 6 months ago, I had a huge like shaky drop in my business because I had set up these cyclical codes or a cyclical success strategy specifically for one area of my business on top of another old strategy. Like I hadn't cleared it before setting the new one in place. And so that actually cost me time and money because it was too shaky to actually sustain the results that I was calling in. And so I kind of like not resented, but like pulled back my ability to create more results, like to call in more clients essentially. Does that make sense? And so really it is so important to have the time and space to be like, okay, I understand this well enough now. Now I'm going to put it in place, and I'm really going to commit to living this way moving forward. Okay. So in Rest for Success, oh my goodness, over 8 weeks, I walk you through setting up these foundations, making sure that you have the right support, making sure that the foundations are really strong, making sure that it's set up for sustainability and longevity, that you're really like using this ancient wisdom and these processes to do that. Okay. Again, the value of having an 8-week course rather than like the 2-day cyclical ascension event, or just a guide that, I give you one time. This is like real community support here.